Greetings ladies and gentlefish, and today we're going to take a quick look at this, the Cromwell Tier 6 British medium tank. And just a point to note before we continue, unlike usual, I'm not going to bother covering the armour scheme of this thing for reasons that should hopefully become apparent. So we're going to have just a quick look at it in the garage, talk about crew skills, talk about equipment fits, the grind, etc. And then show you a few games in it. So what do you get with the Cromwell? Well, you get 750 hit points, which is pretty typical for a tier 6 medium tank. And perhaps one of the first things that should spring to mind is the 650 horsepower engine. So if we compare this to other tier 6 mediums, and I'm afraid the only other one I've got is the Jumbo, that has a 520 horsepower engine and weighs 33 tonnes, whereas the Cromwell weighs 28. Long story short, you get a specific power of 23.19 horsepower per tonne, which is really good. So this thing accelerates well. Top speed limit of 64 kilometers an hour. This thing has a good top speed. This thing is fast. And actually when you play it, I think it has very good soft stats, as a lot of people refer to them. So i.e. the track resistance on the ground. Because this thing just moves so well. It plays a lot like a light tank, frankly, in terms of mobility. Armour, there isn't any. Turret armour 76, hull armour 64. Realistically, you're going to get penned by pretty much anything that looks at you. It is possible to bounce shots. In fact, I've got a video elsewhere on my channel where I get a steel wall in this thing entirely by accident, not by design. You should not be relying on your armour in this thing. You should be relying on not getting shot. The view range is 360 metres, which is okay. Turret traverse speed is good. Signal range 550, which is not good. If we go to the Jumbo again, 615 signal range. The signal range is probably the single weakest thing about this tank, but that's not the end of the world. So, what about the gun? Well, the top gun is this. 75mm Vickers high velocity gun, and if you've played the heavy line, this is the same gun that the Churchill gets, the top gun on the Churchill one. What do you get? 75mm gun, high rate of fire, 145 pen, 135 average damage, both of which are pretty good. To give you an idea, the pen is a little bit less than on the Japanese and German tier 6 75mm guns, but it's more than the 85mm guns of the Russians or the 76mm guns of the Americans. And the average damage is, it's in the same ballpark as your standard 75mm gun. Dispersion 0.36, which is alright, not as good as the German, but better than the American or Russian. 2.3 second aim time is about average. But what this gun does have is reasonable accuracy, reasonable penetration for a tier 6 medium, and when you stack up everything, excellent DPM. It might be the best DPM of tier 6, I'm not sure. I think it's fractionally better than the Type 58, the Chinese Type 58, which is also very, very good. The Type 58 does get slightly higher alpha damage. Anyway, this thing gets brilliant DPM. And so basically, how does this thing play? It plays as a large light tank with a good gun and a bit more health, but that doesn't get scout matchmaking. If you're the sort of player that wants a tank that relies on armour, you won't like the Cromwell. If you're the sort of player who's perfectly happy to bomb it around at ridiculous speeds and just kind of almost troll people to death, then you'll have a lot of fun in this tank, and I've had a huge amount of fun in this machine. So in terms of equipment fit, well, I don't have any equipped at the moment because I don't have the money for it. I am definitely keeping this machine though, so it will get equipment. What will it get? Well, you could give it a gun laying drive just to make the aim time a little bit better, though I personally wouldn't bother, because I think there's better equipment for this. If I could give it a vertical stabilizer, I would, but it can't take it, unfortunately. Coated optics, not a bad choice. Give it an extra 10% view range, although that only increased it by 36 meters. But that does take you to almost 400 meter view range, so it's not a bad choice. Binocular telescopes, I would advise against on the basis that this thing wants to keep moving. Gun rammer, increase the DPM, not a bad idea. Spore liner, no. A wet ammo rack, I have noticed this thing get ammo racked reasonably often, so if you notice that the ammo rack is constantly getting damaged, you might want to go for a wet ammo rack. Improved vents isn't a bad choice either. I would probably advise, if it were up to me, improved vents, a gun rammer, and then your choice of either coated optics or a gun laying drive. That would be my suggestions. Ammo loadout, you can see I have a few HE shells, mainly for those in the new German tank destroyers, the lightly armoured ones. I carry 5 armour-piercing composite rigid, i.e. premium rounds. I don't use them very much at all. It's just in case I really need to pen something. And, you know, the APCR rounds on this get over 200mm of penetration, so, you know, you can make it work. And the rest is armour-piercing. Consumables, I go with the standard 3. You could, I suppose, if you wanted, switch out one of them, probably the fire extinguisher, for pudding and tea. Although that's an expensive option, but you know, plus 10% to all crews, crew skills and perks. Or for one of the gasoline options. I would recommend keeping both a small repair kit and both a repair kit and a first aid kit though, because you tend to take quite a lot of module and crew damage because the armour is so bad, and so you just get penetrated by everything under the sun. Crew skills. Well, Sixth Sense Commander, because Sixth Sense is awesome. You want it on every tank you can possibly take it on. Repairs is not a bad choice for people because this thing relies on its mobility, and if you're trapped out in the open, that's bad, so you want to repair that as quickly as possible. Safe storage for the aforementioned ammo rack problems. Anything else you could go with? Brothers in Arms is a good one to get eventually. Recon isn't a bad choice. Jack of all trades, you take a lot of crew damage, so yeah, it's not a terrible choice. Eagle Eye, not dreadful, but not essential. I think the most important ones are repairs, Brothers in Arms, Safe Storage, and Sixth Sense, personally. You can see I've got Mentor. I would not recommend this. I gave him Mentor back in the days before I came to the conclusion that Mentor was rubbish and not worth it. And I don't retrain for gold. Retraining for credits costs XP. So that would be my recommendation for this thing in terms of crew skills and equipment. Quick talk about the grind that you have to go through to get this thing, if it can really be called a grind. So, this is on the British medium line, despite the fact that the first bunch of machines are light tanks. So you start off with a medium, which is actually quite irritating because the next bunch of tanks are going to be light tanks for you, but never mind. You start off with the Vickers Medium Mark 1, it's not particularly brilliant, but you don't have to spend long there. Tier 2, you get to the Cruiser 3, again you don't have to spend long here, but I would like to point out the Cruiser 3 is actually a pretty darn good machine. The armour's garbage, but it gets excellent gun depression, a good selection of guns, it's got a very high specific power, accelerates well, it's not the most manoeuvrable machine in the world, but it's a good tank and I've kept mine. Cruiser 4 at Tier 3, again you don't have to spend long here, but it's like the Cruiser 3 but turned into a Tier 3 machine, it's just a bit better. So yeah, both of these are good machines and they're not going to be painful to play. Covenanter is a Tier 4 light tank which usually brings people out in hives, but it does not get scout matchmaking. Now you'll notice that the engine power, the specific power on this is worse than the previous two machines, so it doesn't accelerate as well, but you kind of use this a bit like a mini medium tank actually, with good gun depression, and I've got some videos up using it and you can have a look at those, it's good fun. The Crusader, your mileage may differ, for me this was the weakest of these lower tier tanks, Tier 5. It's got the health of a Tier 5 medium, it does not get scout matchmaking, so this is basically the British Tier 5 medium, but it's a light tank. Because you're a light tank, you get the camo on the move bonus, i.e. you don't lose camo while moving. It's not got a bad specific power, but when you're using it, to me, it just feels a little bit sluggish. The gun is a 6-pounder, I don't know, this tank just lacks something for me. I didn't particularly enjoy it. It's okay, but it's not brilliant. And then you get to the Cromwell. When you get to the Cromwell, what is the grind itself like? Well, it really depends on whether or not you've been through the British heavy line or not. If you have been through the heavy line, then you will already have the guns unlocked if you've got any common sense. And you will also probably have the radios unlocked, yeah you will. The engines you won't have unlocked because you only get them on the medium line, but the engines do start carrying over to subsequent machines, which is quite nice. So you can see even up here on the Centurion 1, we've unlocked the first two engines on the Cromwell. Centurion 7.1, got the stock engine. So I would thoroughly recommend deleting this machine. So what would I suggest? Well, firstly, you're going to start off with a 6-pounder gun. You could change it out for the howitzer if you've got that unlocked already. Some people might. I didn't. I just used the 6-pounder and took a bit of premium ammunition. And I actually had fun with it. The 6-pounder gives you better gun depression, actually. I wouldn't recommend using the gun if you don't have to, but it does give you better gun depression, so it does give you some options. So, what would I do? Well, first thing, research the tracks. I don't think you can fit any other fancy modules without researching the tracks first. Second port of call, I would go with the engine to go from 410 to 600 horsepower. So I would prioritise this engine where possible. Once you've got the engine, I would then equip buy the next turret. Because once you've got the turret, assuming you went through the heavy line, you can equip the 75mm gun, the top gun immediately, and then I would get the final engine. If you haven't been through the heavy line, then I would go suspension, second engine, next 6-pounder gun. I personally, you might want to unlock the howitzer, you might not. It depends if you get on with the 6-pounder, which is a slight improvement over the stock gun. And if you want to try the howitzer or not, it's up to you. But I would then just try and grind for the top gun. Unlock the turret, unlock the 75mm gun, do not equip it because it's garbage. Even though it has a good aim time, it is not a very good gun, in my opinion. And then the 75mm high velocity gun, and then unlock the top engine. Because the difference between this engine and this engine is 50 horsepower. The difference between this engine and this engine is 190. So, yeah. And then unlock the Comet at your leisure. Okay, so as I said, I'm not going to talk about the armour on this thing because the armour is garbage, and if you're relying on the armour, you're doing it wrong. So let's just go straight into a couple of games. So this is game number 1. We're top tier, it's a tier 6 game, and we are on a standard battle on Redshire. And Redshire is not my favourite map, but never mind. Now, I do quite well in this game, but that's more by accident than design. When I first loaded this up, every time I've been getting Redshire lately, it had been Encounter. So when this loaded up, I just looked at it. Redshire, Encounter. I assumed it was Encounter. It's not. It's a regular battle. But I thought it was Encounter. And so I make a massive pants-on head move right at the beginning. So I'm having a look at all these tanks and having a bit of a chat in the chat with people, and I think I'm going to poodle over here, and then I go, what? No, screw this. I'm going the other way. Now remember, I think in my head that this is Encounter. So I am expecting the bad guys to have a spawn point located somewhere around, is it J5 or something? No, sorry, their spawn is somewhere around H1. So I'm really surprised when I come across a T-49. I think, what? He's been quick, but maybe he was just really fast and quick off the uptake. But wait, what? There's like heavy tanks and tank destroyers and people here. What on earth's going on? Oh well. And it takes me quite a long time to realise that this isn't the game mode I think it is. To the point that I just go, what the smeg is this? Huh. Oh well. Well, let's take some pot shots, but I don't know why this is happening. I'm confused by people being there, and I take a shot to the side there. I'm genuinely befuddled at this point. But, oh well, you know, people... How did a heavy tank get over here so quickly? I am so confused right now. Oh well. There can't be that many of them, right? Bearing in mind, I still think this is Encounter. More heavy tanks? How did they get over here so quickly? I'm so confused. Well, let's go around here and give them the good news. And what's that down there? Oh, it's a KV-1S. Let's see what we can do to him. No, missed. Oh well, never mind. And we killed the KV-1S. And, oh, there's a Tog. How did a Tog get here? And it's right about now, when the Tog appears, that I suddenly realise this is a standard battle and not encounter. And I start feeling very silly and thinking, oh, crap. So I've come down here into the teeth of the enemy. Oh dear, I thought I was comparatively safe. And so suddenly, the fact that I'm on 52 health isn't really very surprising. I effectively YOLO'd without meaning to. But it seems to have worked, we're 7-3 up. Okay. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. I mean, let's work with this now. We're here, and we're not dead, so let's make the most of it. In fact, they're the ones who are dying, so let's not relent, let's just keep pushing. Let's make them die. Oh, brave M6, but to be fair, he's got health and armour. I think he's allowed to be brave, comparatively speaking. I say he's got health. He hasn't got much, but he's got more than me. Oh, no, he's got slightly less. Still more than me, though. So I'm just seeing what I can do, and woo, someone nailed our Nashorn. Oh well, we're still 8-4 up. Whee! So I'm gonna see if I can get some pot shots on this medium tank up here. Hello, Mr. A43. How are you today? But that's a miss. Oh, and someone else kills him. And there's a medium over there. That's a Cheehy. Missed him. Ah, well. So we haven't actually done a huge amount of damage so far. But imagine what we might have achieved by accidentally YOLOing forwards, especially bearing in mind one of those enemies that I seem to be lighting up, who then died completely, was a Tog too. Can you see what's coming at the end of this? Anyway, so we're going to go around here. There's only 5 of them left, and oh, there's a couple of medium tanks, and artillery will probably be somewhere to my left, over by their spawn. Oh, there's the M6. And I'm seeing if I can get any shots on these guys. Ah, boring. Well, he's screwed. Oh, our ARL's getting a right pounding. And, well, we're not winning quite as convincingly as we were. We're still 5 tanks up. I mean, I said that I was referring to the 4 tank situation, and boom, there we go. Cheeky kill steal on the Cheeky. And our there's a KV-1 there, Duck Remo, who's on Top Gun, which is good. Someone says cap, but screw that. For 12-7 up. Cap? Seriously? Are you really suggesting we cap at this moment? Because I think that would be a bad idea. So, I line up a shot on the side of this American Heavy. It's an M6, and I kill the M6. I am securing all of the kills at the minute. I'm not going to come at this game doing a spectacular amount of damage. Spoiler alert. Right, Achino goes to root out their artillery, and he gets a hit in, but their artillery just derps him in the face and kills him. Big surprise. Tier 4 medium, with no armour anyway. There's also a T-34-85 over there somewhere, and I do not want to get hit by him. And I load the high explosive at this point for the purpose of artillery. But, no, there's their T-34. So I'm trying to put this house between myself and their T-34, because I don't want to die right now, and oh, there's a rock in the way, that's a nuisance. Their T-34 hits our M6, which is also an inconvenience. Our KV-1, who was on Top Gun, is dead. The T-34 kills our M6, and ugh, suddenly we're only 3 tanks up. And oh, seriously? High explosive ammunition, hits artillery, doesn't pen. The HE on this gun is not very good. I think this was one of the games where I really learnt that the hard way. And I leave him on like quarter health. If that had been an AP round, I might have killed him. But it wasn't, it was HE. I didn't. Them's the breaks. So I switch back to the armour piercing and trust that someone will nail that medium. I think he's pretty occupied. I am now conscious of the fact that we're only winning by 2 tanks. That T-3485 has really mopped up some of our low health team members. And I'm low health, he could mop me up too. But oh, there's artillery. Where's that T-34? There he is. Oh, KV-1 nailed him. Now, I'm currently lighting up artillery. If I just drive around the rock to try and kill him, there's a very real chance he'll have pre-aimed at that corner because, yep, there we go, he's pre-aimed, he's not an idiot. There's a very real chance he'll just dirt me in the face. If I do that, we give him the chance, it's not very likely, but the chance that he'll just skimper away and just run off. And the other tanks we've got left are an Electo, that's quite quick, that might be able to catch him, but I don't know where he is. I can't see him on the map, I'm not even sure if he's taken any part in the game. An artillery piece and a KV-1. None of them are, and those last two are not necessarily very fast. I don't know how fast the M41 is, but certainly a KV-1 isn't. Oh, their team's calling me a noob and a pussy. Yeah, I am a pussy. I'm on 52 health. You get an XP bonus for winning. Sorry, for surviving. And yeah, I'm a chicken. I don't care. I'm just gonna keep this guy lit up. There's no rush. There's 6 minutes of the game left. He can derp me to death, but he's not gonna derp the KV-1 to death. Very unlikely. And the KV-1 just kills him. And I'm down with that. And the reason I did that, as I say, was to guarantee that we got him. I did not want to risk him killing me and then just running away. And so that's why I did that. And I stand by that decision. When I play games, I play to win. I don't play to cover myself in ridiculous amounts of glory and get up a massive kill count. I play to win, and if that means they're giving up the kill and giving it to someone else to try and make the win more certain, then I'll do that. That's fine. Anyway, it ended up being quite a good game, despite our massive dirt moment at the beginning. And we come out of it with a butt ton of spotting damage, only like 600 actual damage, even though we got 3 kills, and the patrol duty medal. So on to game number 2. So here's game number 2, and this is a very different beast to the previous game. So this time, we were in an assault game on Corellia, we're on the attacking team, and it's a tier 8 game, so we are bottom tier. Now, the Cromwell is one of those tanks that, well, it doesn't seem to overly care what tier the game is, to be honest. Whether it's tier 6, whether it's top tier or bottom tier, people can still penetrate its armour easily. Whether it's top tier or bottom tier, it will die in a few shots. 2 KV-1S shots will kill it. 2 IS-3 shots will kill it. It can take a little bit more of punishment when it's top tier, but swings and roundabouts. So, and either way, it's very fast, and you can use it as a support medium, giving long range fire, if you're in a tier 6 game. But certainly it's primarily a very fast, flanking, brawling, not getting hit is better than being hit kind of medium tank. Let's be honest, it plays like a large, light tank. It's not that big. It's certainly fast enough, and has a decent enough gun. So, well, this game got off to a great start with our scout just getting bunkered in the face by a T-32. Yes, I don't know what being bunkered in the face means either, but, I said it, deal. So we're going to see if we can try and get a shot in on this scout. I say scout, it's a T-71, I mean, this is good matchmaking for him, it's only a tier 8 game. He's not really a scout in this situation, he's a very, very, very dangerous tank. Yeah, you mock light tanks all you want, but when they turn up to you and just unload their autoloader on you in his case, see if you're still laughing. So we've nailed their T-71, which is good. He was too far forward. I think he played too aggressively. If he'd waited and been more patient until the end was near, he could have gone round and just ripped us a new one. but he didn't. So, initially I go around here and oh Christ, there's friends, and oh dear. There's one shot. Damaged my tracks. And took off a bunch of my health, and oh Christ, a Nashorn killed my driver. Oh dear, this is a bad start. A very, very bad start. But notice the two things that have hurt me so far have been a Tiger and a Nashorn. None of the tier 8s, I mean, them's the breaks. And we're down to like 30-40% health. No, more than that, 40 odd percent, I think. So not a great start. I'm sure you would agree. And we just lost an IS-3, now that is a bit of a blow. Top tier tank and a heavy tank in this sort of matchup, you could really do with it. But we nailed their Tiger 2 in response, so booyah for us. And there's a T-34-1, who, yeah, I didn't aim at the sides because at that angle it had just bounced or his tracks would have eaten it. So I was trying to aim at the little bit of the front of his hull I could see, but shot missed. The gun's, you know, not inaccurate, but it's not a sniper rifle. It's the same gun as on the Churchill one. And so we're just looking for opportunities here. I'm not going to go and like face tank any of those guys or just take shots to the face. I'll die. We lose a Hellcat. But we did take out an IS. Ooh, we take out the Tiger. They take out our KV-1S. So you're just looking for opportunities, trying to see what will crop up. I don't actually think we've done a single point of damage so far this game, so it's not looking enormously promising. But, you know, just be patient and see what crops up. And see what you can make crop up as well. So we go to this rock that gives us cover from anyone they've got camping in sort of A4. And we're seeing if we can get some shots down onto those guys. Oh dear, we just lost another one. We're 5-6 down. And is that a Cromwell on very low health? It might be. So I'm trying to be a little bit cautious here. And deciding that, well, screw this. I'm trying to keep rocks between myself and anyone who's likely to try and shoot me. Apart from these guys, of course. And, oh god, shot number 1. So, oh dear, that shot didn't go where I wanted. Aim and nail the Cromwell, kill number 1. There's a KV-1S. He puts a shot into me, but thankfully he has the small gun and it's eaten by my tracks, and he's dead. T-34-1 is suddenly not looking quite so clever. And what I did was just change the engagement. I managed to go around and start shooting them from the rear. And suddenly, they're all dead. Sorry, or at least those 3 are. Okay. So far, we've done a few points of damage. Nothing amazingly special. We killed a 1 health Cromwell. Oh wow. What an achievement. And we're still on 315 health. Now I've noticed that the other flank is looking decidedly dodgy. I was going to go over there and try and plug a gap, but then I see there's this T-32 trying to make his way across, and ooh, there's a TD up there. So I'm trying to see if I can get any shots in, and oh, Jagdpanzer 4, can I get flanking shots in? Oh, missed, but he dies anyway. Okay. T-32. Now I can penetrate the side of a T-32, most definitely. He says, bouncing on the guy's turret side. That shot missed. There we go. This is a good little 75mm gun. Another bounce. Ugh. If you hit that turret at dodgy angle, then you can start having problems. We're 10-9 up, but I'm conscious there's only 4 minutes of the game left. So I leave that T-32 to his own devices for now, and whoa, there's an ELC. I put 1 shot into him. He's never to be aiming at me, and oh, I didn't think he'd have had time to aim there, but you know, I'm now on 70 health because an ELC's gun hurts. 90mm gun on a tier 5 light tank. Ouchies. And now I'm on 70 HP, and don't want to crash and die. And there's that T-32. Let's see what I can do to him. There we go. I got a bit lucky there. Ninja'd the kill. So we're 12-10 up. I'm on 3 kills. 1 tier 6, 1 tier 5, and 1 tier 8. Now for those 3 kills we haven't done a vast amount of damage so far. But you're bottom tier, do what you can. You know, you're not going to be penetrating tier 8 heavies from the front unless you load APCR. And I carry 5 rounds of that, not just a gold spamming whatever. So our IS nails their VK, that just leaves 2 of their more dangerous tanks. T28 prototype, who's on 4 kills, and an IS3. Neither of which are particularly happy tanks to face. Well, I was about to say we don't know where the T28 is, we only know where the IS3 is, but there's the T28. I get lucky, I get very lucky there. I put a shot into him, and my tracks eat a shot. And now I'm trying to find some cover before he gets another shot in on me. And there we go. There's some rocks between me and him. Jolly good. I'm hoping someone can have shots on that T28 prototype. And so we're just going to go over here and see if we can have a go at this IS3, because the people we have facing him appear to be facing him from the front, and IS3s are very tough from the front. They're not so tough from the sides and rear. So let's see how he fares against this. Pop. 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 He doesn't know what to do. Oh, that one didn't do any damage. Oh, he's trapped. Pop. One more for good measure. And pop, he's dead. That is 3 killed. 4th kill and 2nd tier 8 kill. And oh, it looks like the T28 prototype wants me dead. Okay. So let's not go where he seems to think I'm going to be. Let's go up here and hook around the back, shall we? Oh, T28 prototype spotted. Hello, Mr. Man. Someone says you can't cap in time, and they're probably right. We need multiple people in the cap. There's only a minute of this game left, so let's just kill this T28 prototype. One into him, gets eaten by his gun mantle. He's looking at me. Round the sides, round the sides. 2nd into him, seems to get eaten by his turret. Tiger puts one in, and I finish him off. For kill number 5, 3 of which were tier 8, and I get the Oskins medal for that. For killing 3 tanks in a medium tank that were 2 tiers higher than me. So I was pretty pleased with that. A nice example of how much of an impact a Cromwell can have in a tier 8 game, i.e. when bottom tier. And I got top XP in that game, and I got one of the highest damage counts as well, and I got the highest kill count. Anyway, that was the 2nd game. So what do I think about this machine overall? I think it's an incredibly strong tier 6 medium tank. It's fast, it's mobile, it's got a good gun. It does have its problems, it has no armour, the gun depression is okay but not fantastic. And actually, one thing I forgot to mention earlier on, see this toolbox thing at the back? It means that the gun depression over the rear, well actually it can't. It can't even bring the gun level with the rear, it's going to be elevated slightly. That's something you might want to bear in mind. But overall, I think this is a fantastic machine. I have so much fun in it. My service record with it, well, actually I think I've been a little bit unlucky with teams, because I have had an awful lot of fun playing this, and I seem to do well in it, but my win ratio isn't the best. So if we come here and look at the Cromwell, well, you can see that my average experience per game is 644, which I think at tier 6 is 2nd only to the ridiculously over the top KV1S. Oh no, which is actually behind the VK, fair enough. But still, it's a good average experience, and most of the games I've played in these two I had a premium account for. This one, not so much. So I've got, on average, I do 1.2 times the amount of damage that I receive. I do 1.9 kills for every time that I am killed. I've had a couple of top guns in this thing. I spot vehicles, I just have a great time in it. My hit ratio isn't the best because the gun reloads very quickly, so I often take speculative shots on the move. And I've had multiple mastery badges in this thing. but my win rate is currently down at 48%, although I expect that to improve with time. But I love this machine. I will be buying equipment for it. I will be keeping it. I'm never selling it because this is just too much fun. It is my favourite tier 6 machine so far. Anyway, after I've rambled on long enough, I hope you guys found that vaguely informative or enjoyed it somewhat. If you did, feel free to catch some of my other videos if you haven't already, and or subscribe to my channel. And I wish you happy hunting on the battlefield. By all means, feel free to try this thing out. It's a lot of fun. And I will sign off for now. Ciao, ciao.